The Wendigo, a tale of terror in the frozen north.
The Wendigo is one of the most terrifying creatures in North American folklore, a monstrous spirit that haunts the cold, desolate forests of the northern wilderness. Rooted in the legends of the Algonquian-speaking tribes, the Wendigo is said to be an insatiable beast driven by hunger so great that no amount of flesh can satisfy it. Those who encounter the Wendigo rarely live to tell the tale, for its presence brings death, madness, and an unquenchable thirst for human flesh. This is the story of one such encounter, a tale whispered in fear by those who dare to tread the frozen wastes where the Wendigo still roams. Long ago, when the winters were harsher and the forests untouched by the hands of men, there lived a hunter named Elijah. He was known for his skill with the bow and his unmatched ability to track prey through the thickest snow. He provided for his village, ensuring that no one starved during the long, merciless winters. Yet, despite his talents, Elijah was a man of greed. The stories of the Wendigo were told to him as warnings, tales of those who gave in to gluttony and feasted on the flesh of their fellow men, becoming cursed creatures themselves. Elijah, however, dismissed these legends as mere superstitions meant to scare children. One winter, a blizzard swept through the land, colder and longer than any that had come before. Game grew scarce, and desperation set in among the villagers. Hunger clawed at their bellies, and Elijah, despite his skill, found no prey in the endless white expanse. Days turned into weeks, and starvation loomed over the village like a specter. It was then that Elijah made a choice that would seal his fate forever. One night, as the howling wind masked all sound, Elijah ventured into the woods alone, seeking whatever sustenance he could find. The snow was thick, the air sharp with the scent of ice and decay. He stumbled upon a man, a traveler who had lost his way in the storm, weak and frostbitten. Elijah saw an opportunity. The man would not survive the night, but his body could feed the village. His hands trembled as he drew his knife. "No one will know," he whispered to himself. "The cold will take him anyway." And so he did the unspeakable. He dragged the body back to his home, carving the frozen flesh with practiced hands. He told himself it was for survival, that it was a necessary evil. He fed the meat to the starving villagers, and they ate without question, ignorant of its true source. But Elijah alone bore the weight of his sin. The first bite was the beginning of the end. That night, Elijah's dreams were haunted by shadows and whispers. He awoke to a hunger unlike any he had ever known. It gnawed at his bones, an emptiness so vast it felt as if his soul had been hollowed out. He ate more, but the hunger did not abate. Days passed, and his body began to change. His limbs stretched unnaturally. His fingers grew long and clawed, his eyes sunken into his skull, glowing like embers in the dark. The villagers noticed the change. His voice had grown hoarse, his movements erratic, his breath fogged in the air, thick and unnatural, even in the bitter cold. They whispered among themselves, fearing what he had become. One by one, the villagers vanished, their homes left eerily silent, the snow outside stained red. Footprints, elongated and clawed, led into the depths of the forest where no man dared to go. The elders of the village knew the truth. Elijah is no longer human, they said. He has become a Wendigo. The remaining villagers gathered their weapons, torches flickering against the darkness. They followed the tracks into the woods, the air thick with the scent of death. The deeper they went, the more unnatural the silence became. No rustling trees, no distant howls of wolves, only the sound of their own breath and the crunch of snow beneath their feet. Then they saw him. Elijah, or what had once been Elijah, stood. Before them, a towering figure of bone and sinew, its ribcage protruding as though it had never known nourishment, its mouth a gaping maw lined with jagged, blood-stained teeth. Its eyes burned with an otherworldly hunger, and when it moved, it was with a terrible, unnatural speed. The villagers attacked, their weapons useless against the beast's hide. It tore through them like a storm, its claws rending flesh from bone. Screams echoed through the forest, swallowed by the wind. Those who tried to run found themselves pursued, their own breath stolen from their lungs as they collapsed into the snow, lifeless before they hit the ground. Only one survived, the village elder who had led the hunt. He returned alone, his hair white with fear, his voice broken. He gathered the remaining villagers and told them the truth. Elijah was gone, and in his place stood the Wendigo, cursed to roam the forest forever, hunting, devouring, never satisfied. To this day, travelers who pass through the northern woods tell stories of the Wendigo. They speak of the eerie silence that falls before its arrival, of the freezing wind that saps the warmth from their bones, and of the glowing eyes that watch from the darkness. Some claim to have heard its voice, a hoarse whisper carried by the wind, calling them by name, beckoning them deeper into the trees. Few who hear the call ever return, and so the legend endures, a warning to those who would give in to their darkest hungers. For the Wendigo is always waiting, always watching, forever hungry. Should you ever find yourself lost in the frozen wilderness, beware the whispers in the wind, and never, under any circumstance, let hunger consume you. For the Wendigo is near, and it is always, always hungry.
If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on new content. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to get the latest updates instantly.